everybody. Great to have you with us in the Friday front bar again here at the All Nations Hotel. Thanks to Brewery Fresh, Carlton Draft, magnificent to be, Sam and Mickey.
Guys, it has. Can we keep this short because I've got an urgent donor testicle to deliver to James Kelly. And I'm not quite sure how long these things last. What's that good for?
Have you got some ice in there?
I've got a couple of cans in there, actually, so just be careful if you're rummaging around.
Yeah, you be careful, because if there's cans in there, Gold Coast Suns players could be on their way. So just get it out of here, Nicky.
Dead right.
We all know about the Jimmy Kelly story, and every bloke around Australia feels for him. He's only going to be out for about 6 weeks.
The talk of the front bar this week.
Well, of course it has. The ruptured testicle, and the good thing about it was, you're a bit sensitive about these sorts of things, but at least James Kelly had a laugh about it himself. And the minute he had a laugh about it, well, it was fair for the rest of us.
You know, Mickey, can I just say, once, it was described in many forms as it was a ruptured testicle, it was a torn testicle, it was a split testicle. As a man, I think I speak for everyone, the only word we want in front of testicle is healthy. So I was very uncomfortable with the whole thing.
Okay, question without notice. Has anyone here ever ruptured a testicle?
I have, but it wasn't mine.
No. I have.
What?
It was at schoolies week, so I can't really go for it. But we all know how painful it is. It's a design flaw, an exterior testicle, isn't it? Because a guy does his ACL and we all go, oh, that's terrible. A guy ruptures his nut and there's just nothing funnier.
There is nothing funny. Why? How do you know it's 6 weeks?
Well, because Geelong have told us it's going to be 6 weeks, but that's a very good question. I mean, even the most seasoned medical practitioners at footy clubs don't have a great deal of expertise and experience with ruptured testicles.
Clearly he's got to pass some kind of fitness test. What's that? Flick it with a towel or something? Here's a question for you. Do you think next time Geelong plays Hawthorn will target that testicle? I'm just saying, we know the way they play the game, and I'd hate to see...
Dane Zorko, we all know Dane Zorko and we love his work. I was reading his Twitter feed the other day. He's got... Have you seen these things that he's advertising?
Just quickly, is he sexting you? What is that?
These are right up James Kelly's alley, right? He needs to be accessing, if you know what I mean. Dane Zorko's the man who needs to be called.
Do you know what? I don't mind those, but personally I'd be going with the Junkos.
What?
I'm old school.
Hi kids, it's footy time, and I'm making a pass to Ted Whitten.
Hi, Norman.
Hi Ted. I see you're wearing your Jonko football shorts, the shorts worn by the champions.
Norman, I've proved that Jonko footy shorts are the best you can play in. Plenty of leg room and comfy around the waist.
That's right, Jonko shorts are triple stitch from fleecy line drill. Man, Jonko's tough. But show us how you can kick in your Jonko shorts, Ted.
Oh. Now, I still have a pair of Jonkos, and I have to say it's the closest thing I have to lingerie. And after a big win, the Jonkos come out in the boudoir. It's hello, girls, dinner's on.
Can I just point out something that everyone who just saw that is now thinking?
Yes, please.
EJ, you're not wearing any Jonkos.
You forgot to put the Jonkos on, mate.
You know when you're doing an ad, there are a few like boxes you have to tick. One is the product. You've got to be wearing the product.
You mentioned the Hawks a bit earlier.
Yeah.
That was back to the line in the sand, the unsociable. Didn't that come from nowhere? They came out like men intent on making a statement early in that game.
There was more punches thrown in that game than there was the Mayweather package.
In fact, I think all of Hawthorn's games now are on pay-per-view, so that's something we can look forward to. Can I give you my conspiracy theory?
I'd love to hear. Front bar conspiracy.
Front bar, I've heard a few whispers. I put it to you that that was deliberately done and it was talked about in advance. They've got a couple of easy divey dixes coming up. They've got Melbourne and GWS. They know North Melbourne are a physical side. They'll probably run into them at the business end of proceedings. Clarko's had a word and taken them under his wing and said, you know what, you guys are getting old. We're probably going to nurse you through a couple of games. Why don't you... and
make a bit of a statement.
I mean, that's your theory.
Discuss.
Yeah. Well, it's inaccurate. In the modern day, that actually could never happen, Andy.
Oh, I don't reckon. I think you've got to be very good at what you're doing if you know that what you're going to do is only get you 2 weeks. And Hodgie's gone overboard getting the 3, so it's going to be Sydney. But I reckon somewhere in what you're saying lies a kernel of truth that They wanted to come out.
Thank you,
and
Andy.
Make a statement. Remind the footy world that they are the perfect blend of brutality and brilliance. Hawthorn.
I thought it was best summed up, the whole incident and the way the game is played, by Luke Darcy at the end of the game with this bit of commentary.
You've got to have great respect for Luke Hodge. He's full of integrity.
Yep, clearly integrity is best demonstrated by an elbow to the face.
You know, like boxers call their right and their left. I think Hodge calls his left integrity, and that's what he was doing it.
At every level beneath the AFL, in footy, there is a send-off rule. And yet, in the AFL, the elite level of the game, we don't have a sin-bin / send-off rule in the game.
Would you be for it?
I reckon it's worth discussing.
Part of me's for it. One is, as a Carlton supporter, anything to get Robbie Warnock off the ground. Right? But the second one is, and this is always the thing, is if the umpire gets it wrong. And it's like if it happens in a grand final.
I've never known the umpire to get it wrong. Honestly,
That's
it's crazy talk.
But they back the umpire or the referee in every other football code around the world. Why do we have such little faith in the umpires in the AFL to get that call right? There's vision all over the place. There's cameras everywhere. Before they make the call, they can say, listen, just check that incident. Is it worthy of being sent off?
I haven't seen you this passionate since James Kelly's testicle was I didn't know that you were so for it.
Hey, can I tell you, this is a true story. Playing for Mount Eliza under 14s, and we had a player and he got sent off and suspended for about 8 weeks. So his punishment was that he had to be our boundary umpire for the next 8 weeks. So we were playing the Pines, and there was a 36-man brawl broke out. He's boundary umpiring. He runs around the boundary line, punches a player in the face, turns him over and takes his number. I swear that is what happened back in the day.
Looking forward to the footy again this week, boys. A lot of good games. Kicks off Friday night with Geelong taking on Collingwood. You got the North Richmond game down in Tassie. Melbourne, can they bounce back after their mauling at the hand of Freo last week? Hey, the Bulldogs taking on St Kilda is interesting. It takes me back. And it's been an interesting game because St Kilda were brave against Essendon last week.
They were good.
Takes me back to that game. I reckon it was about 2000 when we saw Maxi really display how much it meant to St Kilda with the tears at the end of the game.
There he is.
They were 31 points up. They're 3/4
Is
time.
that the best blub in AFL history?
You didn't-
I mean, he's on the water. He's turned on the waterworks there.
There's a couple that automatically come to mind, I reckon.
This is my favourite for many reasons.
Yeah.
And that's a bit of father-son action. And here comes the old grandfather Hanky. Oh, that was when he still had tear ducts. Great. Now this is a classic. This is actually quite sad. Do you remember that day?
Oh, yeah.
He'd done his shoulder and they'd targeted. It was
when the Scott
not a
boys
happy
got
captain. And here we go. It's like he's just watched The Notebook. And it's got to him. It's a tear-jerker.
There's others too, man.
Yeah, well, get used to
that.
that, kids.
Yeah, look at that.
You know, I've got a lifetime of that.
That's after watching him train. Essendon are playing Fremantle this week, and I know for a fact that Ross Lyon has been preparing all week for will play like this. Have a look at this piece of play.
This is textbook stuff.
Smooth ball movement.
Clean
One
hands.
touch footy. Yeah.
Clean hands.
Hitting targets.
First option.
No, terrific.
It's just-
Flick that up there. Yeah, I'll get that.
If we could put Benny Hill music to that would be just perfect.
Oh, and by the way, hey, we're moving on. I know I forgot to mention for Essendon. Congratulations.
Oh, yes.
40 years old.
Yep.
What's his name?
Dustin Fletcher. He's the one. He's the one. Who can ever
I'm
forget
having a
what's his name?
senior moment talking about him. Dustin Fletcher, isn't that amazing?
Yeah,
It's not a night game, is it?
No, why?
Well, because he's just to bed in bed by 8. You know, he wants to go on his end of season trip.
Where?
Timeshare, Yarrawonga. He just thinks it's time.
You know, he's okay.
settle down.
Here's a trivia question for you.
There we go.
He becomes only the second person ever to play footy beyond their 40th birthday in VFL/AFL history. Who was
Michael
the first?
Tuck.
Nope.
Kevin Bartlett.
No. Nope. Vic Cumberland was his name. St Kilda back in about 1919, I
It's on
think.
the tip of my tongue.
40.
Oh, Vicky Cumberland.
Everything Gold Coast have been through this week. A pretty interesting game. They get their win on the board and they take out on the Adelaide Crows this weekend.
Here's what I do like down at the Suns. We've had the cat row, when they get a
Geelong
goal down at Geelong. Well, the Suns have gone to extraordinary lengths to jazz it up a bit. Well, they got a trumpeter.
He's looking very dangerous. He spoke pre-game about...
How good is that?
After every goal.
After every goal.
well, tremendous.
Oh!
You know what's appropriate about that, Mickey?
What?
Is that Rocket Eads' game plan is from the big band era. So that makes sense to me.
I feel they've borrowed that idea from us. Don't you think we're the first to start?
Yeah, I
that?
think he's had a couple of weeks.
Am I right, Bern? Exactly.
Hey, Mother's Day is problematic for the AFL, and I think credit to the AFL. They've changed their fixture this year so families can get together, have their lunch. But the Blues are a bit worried about a crowd. Their form's pretty poor, and Mother's Day being where it is. So they've thrown in a couple of sort of extra incentives to get people along. 2 for 1, free footies to come through, have a kick to kick, free popcorn.
Get a game. Get there early enough.
Interesting because, of course, last week Mick Mulder celebrated the game-breaking record, coaching record. And who did he have in the box? Jeffrey Edelston, which is, I couldn't think of anything worse. Apparently Mick wanted someone in the box who was actually older than him.
Imagine the old man smelling that box. That would air that out for days.
Are you going to defend that?
Well, Carlton has a thing, it's been going for a couple of years now, the inner blue coterie, where you pay a lot of money to the club to sit in the coach's box, and Edelston just happened to pay the most money last week to get in the box. So it's a fundraiser for the Blues.
Was that money in cash?
Up front, Blues.
Exactly.
That's it, we're done. Another episode of Friday Front Bar come and gone. Great to have you with us here at the All Nations.
I better get
Jimmy Kelly's looking forward to you.
Kelly.
Thanks to Brewery Fresh, Carlton's Run.